Hello, hello, my good people. How y'all doing today? I'm a little tired, but for good reason. Mm, Been making pickles pretty much the most part of the day and ran a few errands. And yeah, that's why I'm late today. Um, but let's get into it. Recap from last Saturday. We talked about a little parenting. Well, really not parenting, but we kind of recapped that. But we started back talking about my marriages and my traumas and um, allowing God to use me to help others as well as myself. Excuse me. Um, and so let's get it. Um, I left off talking about after my second marriage ending, how I had to ask for help because he was escalating and he did not want to really leave the house, and we had to move out. And then he decided, like 3 weeks later, that he couldn't handle the house and that me and the kids can go back to the house, and all the things, getting his name off the lease, um, and all the things to make things official. I had filed for divorce already, and so I was done. I was done, and um, I also kind of was talked about, after I being divorced from him after 5 years, how he resurfaced and started messing with the relationship that I was in at that time. Um, and messing with me. Just I don't know what it was about, but one of the things that I do know, the enemy stays busy, and his job is to kill, steal, and destroy. He comes to wreak havoc. He loves chaos, and he will send anything and anybody your way to do that and get you off course. And so he did that. And one of the things that I often tell anybody, if I end up in a relationship, I'm in it. I'm in it until I'm not. And what I mean by that is I'm going to do everything possible that I can to get it to work. I'm going to forgive over and over. I'm going to try something new, something different. I'm going to put my best foot forward. Fight, sleep. I'm coming. I'm gonna be there until I realize that it's pointless. And once I get to that point, there's no turning back. And I often tell them that. Well, during the time my second ex-husband was reaching out and trying to create chaos, I finally sent him a message, and I recapped the different conversations that we had in short. I made it as short as possible, but I let him know that, just go on. Like, leave me alone. I'm not bothering you. I don't, you're not a focal point. And I also made it clear that I told you, I let you know that once it was over, it was over. We're not circling the block, we're not coming back. We don't do that because what's the purpose of that? And he finally was like, okay, I will leave y'all alone. And unfortunately, that wasn't the end of it. Um, and what I'm learning about abusers and manipulators and narcissists is that they find reasons to see if they can still get in the door. They find ways to still try to get next to you. He called me from a different number. I answered it and he was like, hey, he needed me to write him a reference letter. And I was sitting there thinking, like, this guy is crazy. Um, and then he called me from a different number asking about our divorce papers, sending him a copy of it. And I was just like, okay, Lord, I don't know what this is. I don't know what it's about. I don't know really how to handle it. So you're going to have to help me because I am about to lose my cool. And God just told me not to really respond. And so I stopped responding. And finally, well, it's been about 2 years almost now. Um, I haven't heard from him. Well, I heard from him on TikTok asking me. Anyway, my point is when you're dealing with people that have those traits of narcissists, abusers, manipulators, controlling, sometimes it's not as easy to get away from them. And you have to really make sure that things are in place for people like that. Because I literally had to call and call a police station and ask questions about, like, how do I deal with this? How do I handle this? What are my uh options or whatever, because I just wasn't sure, what I was really about to deal with, if anything. And I wanted to make sure that not only was I protected, but my family was protected. And so, um, fortunately enough, I haven't had to deal with that in almost 2 years, and I'm grateful because again, getting out of abusive situations is not always easy, and the worst kind to get out of is mental and emotional abuse, because they play with your mind. It's almost like a torment, honestly, because they play with your mind. They play with your emotions, and if you're not cognitive to it, they'll get you every time. And so I just learned to honestly remember, like, why I got out the situation. Um, I remember that I needed to ask for help to get out the situation. And if I have to ask other people to help me to get out of a situation, I dare not return back to it. I bet not. And that's how I felt um, about it. And of course, moving forward, honestly, I didn't stay single long. I didn't stay single long after that marriage. I had a guy that I met years ago, um, that we, would stay in touch from time to time. Just it was more so of him reach out to me to check in and make sure I was okay, things like that. And um he had been doing that for years. Like, it took me over 8 years, close to 9 years, to consider trying something with him for his relationship wise. And I just, I thought, um, why not? You know, both of my marriages was older than me, and I hadn't had many relationships my age. So most of my, situationships and relationships was older men. And I was like, let me try something different, right? And that's what I did. Um, he's he's a year older than me, and I was just like, okay. And we built a really good friendship. Um, and I know now, um, why Steve Harvey always say men and women can't just be friends. Usually, it's not that. You know, yeah, it's usually it's usually not that. One, if not both parties, want it to be more than a friendship, and it made sense. It made sense. Because I used to wonder, like, why he keep checking on me? Why he? I mean, he would go for long periods of time, a year, 2 years, before he'll reach out, and I'm just like, that's weird. But you know, again, another man that had game, was a narcissist or was a manipulator. He used it, and he was. Let me tell you, when you dealing with one that's patient, whole different ball game. This guy was patient. He kept coming. Like I said, it took me almost 9 years to give in. And I'm thinking, this guy must really want me. I've never experienced this. A man continue to seek me and chase after me and all the things. I was just like, he must really do want me. That was, and of course, for a person like me, never really experiencing that level of um consistency, that level of admiration, I was just like, oh, okay, I'm going to go ahead and get this a try. I'm going to go ahead and get this a try. We're friends, so they say friends make the best lovers, all the things, all the cliche stuff that we've heard growing up. And I was smitten. I was smitten. I've never been given a promise ring. He gave me a promise ring like maybe a month after we decided that we would date. Um, he was really good with his words. Um, and I trusted him. The first guy that I let, like, when I say all my guards down with, open up to, um I mean, I just let it all out. And I learned through that relationship to really use discernment and trust your gut. That relationship taught me to trust my gut, trust my instinct, trust my discernment. Because again, I like I've said in a previous video, I didn't know how to. I didn't know how to. And I had to learn. I learned during that relationship how to trust my gut, my intuition, my discernment. Just knowing that if your if your brain, if your mind is saying check a person's phone, you don't even got to check the phone. Your brain, your gut is saying something ain't right. But again, because I didn't really experience that growing up, you know, I used to hear about it, but I never really did that type of stuff. I found myself doing it, and I was like, oh my God, like I felt like I was a teenager all over again. I was just like, and maybe that was the point. Maybe I had to do some of the things that I didn't do in my first marriage or whatever, first little relationships, all that. I had to go back and do and learn to listen to my inner voice, which is my discernment, which is my intuition, which is that gut feeling. He taught me that. And I remember the first incident. And of course, again, the sad thing about all of this is that I still didn't learn, right? I put myself in so many situations not really understanding the the main reason for it, right? So the first incident we had, I'm at work, I get off the phone with him, and he had two phones. And so he thought he hung up with me, but he didn't. He got on his other phone and he was talking to another chick. And I'm like, wow. Like, I'm distraught. He comes to pick me up from work um that evening, and I'm just livid. But I'm crying and I'm not saying much. And of course, most men, you crying, you're not saying much. They want to know what's wrong. He's asking me, what is it? What is the problem? Like, who did it? Da, da, da. And I'm just like, you. Like, You did all this to get me to not even be ready. And I asked you, was you ready? Because I don't do, I'm not the girl that does multiple relationships. I'm not the woman that, got my main thing and then my side piece. I don't do all that. And so I'm not with it. And of course he promised it won't never happen again. He's done with it. He was, all the things. And of course, he showed progress, showed act like it was just him and I, and things just, we went on a family trip. And we went on that family trip. Let me back a little bit. Like I said, he was acting like everything was good. He got it together. I'm still, I didn't fell in love. I'm excited about the relationship. I'm, still trusting him. And then we go out of town. And he was just a different person. The representative was no longer there. I don't want no representatives. And one of the things that I'm learning, it may not work. It's probably not going to work for most people, but for me, it got to. And I got to do it because otherwise I would miss things. Well, now I probably won't miss as much as I used to miss due to I am in the season of healing and I'm growing and being enlightened and trusting my instincts and my intuition and discernment, learning it. But I've heard someone say, let a see a person in all seasons. And I didn't understand that for the longest. And what they mean is you want to see them happy, you want to see them sad, you want to see them angry, and you want to see them mad. Mad, happy, sad, mad, happy, sad, and angry. Yeah. You want to see them in those stages because it reveals who they are. And some of it you have to provoke. I, I didn't realize that. And of course, you don't want to provoke the person you're with or whatever, but because people can hide who they truly are, for a long time, I've said this, like, it's amazing how long people can hide who they truly are. And it's really easy for them to do if you're not living with them. It's real easy for them to do it if y'all don't live together. It's harder when you live together because you gonna see things gonna arise and you get to see how it plays out. And so for me, with that relationship, it was a different level of pain, a different level of heartbreak, a different level of aha, a different level of what the hell is wrong with you, girl? Like, I've scratched my head so much, like, are you that broken? And I was. Like, man, up until around this time last year, I was so broken and damaged and bruised and beat down. Even though I didn't look like it, I didn't act like it. Oh my God. I was so damaged. I was so damaged. All because I didn't do what God told me to do. All because I wasn't obedient. And now I am like I'm I'm not where I need to be at all, but I'm so far from where I was. I have I believe that I've made great strides and have really um been doing good, really. And more in not just in my healing but just overall, because I've been working on my life in so many aspects. And I'm not where I want to be. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm far from where I was. And I just see myself growing and getting better as I continue my journey of healing. Like I say, I have so many stories. It's so many things that I haven't talked about. Um, because again, my mind, you know, I try to allow the spirit to lead me on this journey. Also, keep that in mind. So sometimes, I the way that I intended to do um this healing journey is clearly not the way God wanted me to do it. And so just know that it's not gonna be in order. Like I'm gonna go back to some things because things gonna be brought back to my remembrance. So just remember that healing is such a mind-boggling experience. And once you start it, you will find yourself all over the place. But it's good. It's a good thing because the goal is to get it all out. Everything that's been um, pushed down, that's been, in the back of your head and deep in your gut, it got to come up and got to come out in order for the healing to be real and that it will last. And so, as I wrap up today, I would like to say thank you all for tuning in and going on this journey with me. Please like, share, and subscribe. Invite people in, ask questions, leave comments. If you need some support or help, let me know. But I'm gonna continue this journey um, authentically. This is an authentic journey, not scripted, not rehearsed. It's not. It's whatever God tell me to talk about each week is what I'm gonna talk about. Cause clearly it must be someone need to hear that particular story or that particular event at that particular time. And so just know that my journey of healing is to help others as well as myself. I talk to y'all on next Saturday. Like, share, subscribe. I love you all. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful night and a wonderful rest of your weekend. Bye for now.